Good morning at 6:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app is a free download from Office Furniture Source. Down yonder, Miss Erin, local news. She's got it up next.
The governor due in town today. He's talking health care. We'll have that. A fatal crash in DeSoto Parish. And if you want to be a cop in Shreveport, well, we've got your shot.
Is the governor going to talk health care, or is the governor going to talk free health care?
Oh, he's going to talk Ochsner.
How do you say that again?
Ochsner.
We'll work on that, too.
Okay, thanks.
Erin says, I got this first segment, which is scaring me to death.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what she wants. Maybe she won big at blackjack. Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather, and it's all. Or could it be LSU football? Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather. It's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Governor John Bel Edwards to be in town today to meet with officials at University Health. John Bel Edwards will meet with officials at our local Safety Net Hospital ahead of the Ochsner Health takeover. Ochsner set to take over control of the hospitals in Shreveport and Monroe from BRF October 1. Edwards says he is excited about Ochsner because he believes they will improve health care and help grow the medical school. A woman dies in a crash in DeSoto Parish. Matt Parker with the details.
Bad weather leads to fatal crash in DeSoto Parish. According to state troopers, two cars collided on LA 175. Troopers say a Lincoln driven by Kayla Allen spun out, crossed the center line, and was hit by a smart car. Allen and her passenger suffered moderate injuries in the wreck. The driver of the smart car died at the scene. Impairment is not suspected. The crash remains under investigation. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Two men recovering after being shot during a drive-by shooting last night. According to police, gunmen driving a light-colored sedan opened fire on a home on Murray Street. Investigators say several people were inside the car. One of the victims was shot in the arm, the other in the back. Both are considered non-life-threatening wounds. At this time, no arrests have been made in the case. Shreveport Police Department gave potential officers a look at what it's actually like to be a cop this weekend. Saturday, SPD held an open house at its training center on Greenwood Road. Those considering becoming an officer in Shreveport had the opportunity to meet with instructors and others on the force. If you didn't make it to the open house but are interested in joining SPD, you can still apply online. The woman who has accused Judge Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault in the 80s has agreed, along with the judge, to testify about the incident on Thursday. This comes after a weekend of negotiations between the accuser, Dr. Ford's legal team, and the Judicial Committee members. Senator John Kennedy, a committee member, says before agreeing to the Thursday hearing, she'd been offered a few options.
We agreed to offer to allow her to do the meeting in private if she wishes. I think that'd be a big mistake, but I will go along if that's what she wants to do.
Kennedy says he's talked at length with Kavanaugh, who has categorically denied the allegations. Bill Cosby faces the start of a 2-day sentencing hearing at which a judge will decide how to punish the 81-year-old. Cosby was the first celebrity to go on trial in the Me Too era and could be the first to go to prison perhaps for the rest of his days. He was convicted in April of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman at his suburban Philadelphia home. Sentencing begins today. The state kicks off voter registration week today ahead of a hotly contested midterm season nationally that may not yield many surprises in the Bayou State. Statewide, the election will give voters a chance to decide on congressional races and the special election for Secretary of State. Interim Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin says the November turnout probably won't be great.
28 to 30%. It's a shame that that's a decent turnout, but these days, I think the last time we looked at the midterm, that was about the turnout the last time.
But locally, we do have city council races and, of course, a mayor's race. A Georgia jury has awarded $31 million to a boy for a botched circumcision he received as a newborn. Part of the baby's penis was severed during a 2013 circumcision. The lawsuit says the boy suffers pain and will have a lifetime of mental anguish. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Ten past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Monday morning traffic. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. There'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around today. Mostly cloudy with a high of 86. Some clouds, low 69 tonight. Tomorrow, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, high 89. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
One 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Ooh, Monday. Whee! Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Okay, you just did kind of it was a little whirly-bird gesture. Now that means one of two things. Mm-hmm. Either you're in a really good mood and it's an old, like, Tonight Show, whee, or whee, or
Woohoo!
you have an idea for a segment.
No, I'm employed.
That frightens me somewhat.
I'm employed. I have a job.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I love
all of Matt's post on Facebook. It was awesome this weekend.
Was there anyone who really believed? Let's take a show of hands. Was there anyone who believed that despite your promise, your oath, your tontine, as it were — yes, tontine is a good word — your promise that if Louise, you can look it up, Tontein.
Taunting?
Tontine. It's like
Okay.
it's like a pact.
All right. I thought it was a heavy teenager.
So you had made a vow
Yeah, I did.
that if Louisiana Tech defeated LSU,
I would resign.
you would resign your position
Out of here.
as program director, as what do they call it? Brand manager
Yeah,
is the
peace out.
corporate speak we use.
Uh-huh.
The brand manager of 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Mm-hmm.
You would resign your position as co-host of the Keel Morning
Yeah,
Show.
gotta go.
You would leave this facility altogether.
I'm going in hiding.
And so I would imagine about midway through the third period, things were a little tight.
Third quarter, but that's okay.
And I said midway through the third quarter.
You said third period, but
Did
that's
I?
all right.
Sorry,
yeah.
I got hockey on the head.
Yeah.
So I would imagine midway through the third something
Yeah.
stanza, you were a little concerned.
I was. My phone started to kind of shake. I didn't look at the phone because I was watching the game in delay, as you know how I do. So I didn't want to look at my phone, but I was getting a little concerned. And you know how I feel about LSU. You know my rule about LSU. You must win every quarter. Well, we didn't win the third quarter. Louisiana Tech won the third quarter.
So you consider this a loss?
I don't consider it a loss, but I don't consider it a big victory either. But here's my problem. When I said I would resign if LSU lost to Louisiana Tech, and then that got some sort of ultra super life on social media, there are friends of mine who they get up and go to work at 10 in the morning, so they don't listen.
All they know is that
Erin's resigning.
Yeah.
They hear this and they post remarks. Gosh, I hope she doesn't. She's so, she's so
they don't
wonderful.
know the intricacies, the particulars
No, they don't know the bet. They don't know what we were talking about.
of your vow.
They just are hearing that I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I wonder if it's a 2-week notice. I wonder. No, I'm not leaving.
Well, not now.
I'll post something online today that I'm still employed. I probably was never going to really resign. I might have taken a little vacation.
So it was just another empty promise, another hollow.
I'm not ready to resign. Come on, look at me.
Look.
I've got more game in me.
She could have stayed employed, but I know how the board works. I was just going to disconnect her mic even if she showed up to work.
So tell me about the game. What did you think about the game? What did you think about LSU's performance? Did they play down to their level, as a lot of LSU fans say they did?
They did. They played down to the level, kind of like they did with Southeastern. Burrow was, 16 of 28? He did have 191 yards passing, so that that's respectable. But I don't like losing that third quarter to the Tech Bulldogs. But I did notice one thing. Clyde Edwards, how do you say his last name? Hilaire? I don't know how you say it. He stepped up.
Well, you are the Cajun in the room.
He was a run horse for us. 136 yards. He did real well. Nick Brosette not quite as much. I do know that we don't want Joe Burrow to run the ball. He rushed 4 times for 2 yards. He needs to stop. You don't need to be doing that anymore. Louisiana Tech, I think for Bulldog fans, I think a respectable showing.
So what lies ahead for your beloved Tigers over the next? I think it's like 3.
Who's up next for them, Matt? I'm not even sure. But I do want you to know, do you recall the score I said it would be?
No.
I said 39-14.
Yeah.
It was 38-21. I'm pretty darn good, I must admit.
They got Mississippi next,
Easy win.
then Florida,
Easy
Florida's
win.
struggling a little.
Florida's not very good.
and then we get into the meat of the schedule. You got Georgia, Mississippi State, Alabama, all ranked teams.
Well, Mississippi State floundered this weekend, so they're nothing anymore. I'm
Georgia
not worried
ranked
about them.
number 2. So literally
I need to redo my preseason picks.
over a 3-week stretch.
Uh-huh.
Over a 3-week stretch, if nothing changes in the rankings, over a 3-week stretch, LSU plays numbers 1 and 2.
Yeah, pretty much. And we have moved up, by the way, number 5 in the Associated Press poll, which is so you have 3 SEC teams in the top 5. It's a tough conference. What I don't like about it, and I probably already told you this, I don't like the fact that we play from the East 2 of the big dogs. We play Georgia and Florida, while Alabama gets what?
No. Georgia, Florida sucks this year.
Well, usually Florida's a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a team you put on your schedule and go, oh, that's a cream puff. We're
Well,
gonna beat them.
let's
well,
phrase it this way.
Alabama
It's
gets
never,
what, Vanderbilt and Tennessee?
It's never an easy game in Gainesville.
No, it's not. It absolutely is not. But I don't like the ones we got from the East are way better than the ones Alabama's got from the East, which is not right.
Did I see this right? Like Tua Tagovailoa completed like his first 18 passes or something.
Yes, he's
at one point he was 18 for 18 with
beast.
4 TDs.
That child is a beast.
He was 19
I'm
years
scared.
old.
Do we go to Tuscaloosa
Yeah,
this year?
yeah, it's on the road.
That could get ugly.
Georgia on the road too?
I don't know. I hope not.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Georgia's strong too.
Suddenly, the urge to make more promises.
But you know,
Yes.
if we lose 2 games, LSU fans will be happy.
If-
I would be happy with that.
You would be happy with the 10-2 season having lost to Nick Saban once again.
I would be happy with that. I was expecting 6 losses. So I'm good with 2. I'm even good with 3. Heck, what the heck?
19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM. Glad you're staying.
Yeah, thanks.
19
I feel
past-
so welcome.
19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Time for Monday morning traffic. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. There'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around today. Mostly cloudy with a high of 86. Some clouds, low 69 tonight. Tomorrow, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, high 89. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Good morning at 6:21. Monday morning sports. Time for Timmy.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Rarely will Drew Brees' running exploits outshine his passing feats, but Sunday in Atlanta, the Saints quarterback had 2 rushing touchdowns, including the game-winning sneak in overtime in a 43-37 win over the Falcons. Brees' other running score came with just over a minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Brees, earlier in the game, became the NFL record holder for most career pass completions. Also in the game, Michael Thomas had 10 catches to give him 38 through 3 games, the most at that point in a season in league history. New Orleans improves to 2-1. Atlanta is 1-2. While the Saints offense clicked, the Cowboys offense clanked in Seattle. Dak Prescott was picked off twice by Earl Thomas and was sacked 5 times in the Seahawks' 24-13 win. The former Houghton star finished 19 of 34 for 168 yards and 1 touchdown. It's the 9th time in their last 11 games that Prescott failed to reach 200 yards through the air. Both teams are 1-2. The Texans became the Giants' first victim while sinking to 0-3. Eli Manning threw 2 touchdown passes in a 27-22 win in Houston. Tiger Woods broke a 5-year winless streak with a monumental, emotional win in the PGA Tour season-ending Tour Championship. Woods has overcome numerous back surgeries and other ailments to reach the winner's circle for the 80th time in his career. He finished 2 shots clear of Billy Horschel and Justin Rose to claim the win. In 18 starts on tour this season, Woods had 7 top 10 finishes. He is now just 2 wins shy of tying Sam Snead for the most tour wins in history. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 23 past 6 o'clock. Keel app's a free download from Office Furniture Source.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my screen just went completely dark and then completely light again.
Oh, boy.
And so, yeah, it was like I was being pulled over by the cops. I panicked.
When's the last time you got pulled over?
Seriously? Let me think a second. Let me think. It was the speeding ticket I got on the way to Dallas in 2003 or 4.
Okay.
It may have been 2002, but it was me and a whole bunch of people from Texas. We're going down the interstate at 80 in sort of a caravan.
Mm-hmm.
And this Texas State Trooper, the flashers come on, and I'm like in the middle of this. And so the first car with Texas plates pulls over, and he goes right past them. Oh. And the second car with Texas plates pulls over, he goes right past them.
Oh.
And the guy with Louisiana plates pulls over, and he pulls over with the guy from Louisiana, which in this case happened to be me.
You.
There is... I don't know if it's a new website or not called, not Pelican Brief, BayouBrief.com.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an article, and we'll talk about this. Well, we can talk about this a little bit now. And the fellow's name is Lamar White Jr. is the article. And basically he writes, good Lord, man. I mean, Mr. White did some homework here. Mm-hmm. He wrote, I would be willing to bet 7,000 or 8,000 words minimum on the Carolyn Prater, Greg Tarver, Steve Prater, John Bell Edwards, Jeff Landry, Red River Waterway Commission appointment controversy, which he says is all made up partially by bloviators on AM radio.
Oh, we're bloviators?
During the past 2 months. Ooh. But what he really does is take a couple of hits at Greg Tarver. Basically, he says Greg's just making stuff up.
Okay.
Remember where his story and the governor's story and the story that the governor's people, everybody seemed to be at odds.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically, what's the word I'm looking for? He says, Mr. Greg's lying. During the past 2 months, Republican political operatives and conservative pundits have attempted to manufacture a scandal over the appointment of the Red River Waterway's newest commissioner, Colonel, retired Michael DeVille, an African-American veteran from Pineville in Rapides Parish, instead of Carolyn Prater, the wife of Caddo Parish Sheriff Steve Prater. It has become a near obsession among the governor's opponents, and it is arguably the pettiest and most ridiculous state political story of the year, which is really saying something. His words, not mine. The criticism is being leveled by the usual subjects, far-right conservatives like Jeff Landry, and attention seekers like Senator John Kennedy, a couple of fringe bloggers, hyper-partisan columnists, and bloviators on AM radio. Notably, though, the list also includes one Democrat, State Senator Greg Tarver of Shreveport. Now, I'm going to get into this, at least as in an abridged version, an edited version.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to compare what he says with what we know, with what Mr. Gregg has told us, and what the version of the story coming from the governor's camp is. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
To critics of Edwards, State Senator Tarver's decision to publicly insert himself into the story lends credibility to the theory that something improper occurred, which is the legal opinion of the Attorney General of the state of Louisiana. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
But Tarver has his own Democratic critics, and privately, they contend he is more politically aligned. Follow me on this one now. This is Mr. White. And privately, meaning Democratic critics, they contend that he, Tarver, is more politically aligned with Republican Sheriff Steve Prater than he is with most of the Democrat delegation. Would you say, so far, is that true or false? Is Greg Tarver more often politically aligned with Sheriff Steve Prater?
No.
Former state senator Lydia Jackson outpolled Greg Tarver in urban precincts. A Shreveport area political operative explained to me on the condition of anonymity. The quote goes on, Prater's endorsement and robocalls to rural portions of the district made up the deficit and gave Tarver a close victory. Is that true? Did a Prater endorsement of Tarver, a public endorsement and publicly campaigning for him in the last election, give Tarver a close win?
Well, some say that helped big time.
So the anonymous operative goes on. It's not surprising he, meaning Tarver, would lobby for his friend's wife. Is he assuming that Tarver and Prater are friends? Or is that an assumption? He continues. He owes his return to the state Senate to Prater. Last paragraph, I'll hurry. During the last regular session, State Senator Tarver was the only African American in the entire legislature to oppose Senate Bill 139. Which one was that? Justice Reinvestment Act.
Yeah.
The most comprehensive and important piece of criminal justice reform legislation. Sheriff Prater was also opposed. The bill passed anyway and is now law. He, meaning Tarver, may also be upset that he wasn't able to steer a hospital management deal earlier this year, set to be officially announced on Monday, which is today, they say, and the reasons may be more personal than political. So the story here is, I think that's a pretty, would you, on the 1 to 10 scale, hold your thought. I'll ask you can tell me when we get back. On the 1 to 10 scale, how big, not how serious, because Greg Tarver may in fact be bulletproof, but on the 1 to 10 scale, how serious an attack is that on Greg Tarver? 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Erin has local news up next. Traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, rather cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm and a high of 86, then some clouds, low 69 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The state kicks off voter registration week today ahead of a hotly contested midterm season nationally that may not yield many surprises. Statewide, the election will give voters a chance to decide on congressional races and the special election for Secretary of State. Interim Secretary Kyle Ardoin says Louisiana has one of the best voter registration percentages in the nation.
We have about 86% of all eligibles registered to vote in the state of Louisiana. We're in the top 5.
November will bring more than just statewide elections. Of course, we have municipal elections in our area. Governor John Bel Edwards due in town today to meet with officials at our local safety net hospital ahead of the Ochsner Health takeover. Ochsner scheduled to take over control of the hospital in Shreveport and Monroe from BRF October 1st. Bad weather leads to a fatal crash in DeSoto Parish. According to state troopers, 2 cars collided on LA 175. Troopers say a Lincoln driven by Kayla Allen spun out, crossed the center line, and was hit by a smart car. Allen and her passenger suffered moderate injuries in the wreck. The driver of the smart car died at the scene. Impairment not suspected. The crash remains under investigation. 2 men shot in a drive-by shooting in Shreveport. Matt Parker with that.
2 men are recovering after being shot in a drive-by Sunday night. According to police, gunmen driving a light-colored sedan opened fire on a home in the 2600 block of Murray Street. Investigators say that several people were inside the vehicle. One of the victims was shot in the arm, the other in the back. Both are considered non-life-threatening wounds. At this time, no arrests have been made in the case. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The Senate Judiciary Committee has scheduled a hearing for Thursday for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a woman, Christine Blasey Ford, who says he sexually assaulted her as a teenager. New allegations of misconduct from a second woman have now surfaced. Shreveport Police Department gave potential officers a look at what it's actually like to be a cop this weekend. Saturday, SPD held an open house at its training center on Greenwood Road. Those considering becoming an officer in Shreveport had the opportunity to meet with instructors and others on the force. If you didn't make it to the open house but are interested in joining SPD, you can still apply online. Bill Cosby faces the start of a 2-day sentencing hearing at which a judge will decide how to punish the 81-year-old comedian. Cosby was the first celebrity to go on trial in the Me Too era and could be the first to go to prison, though some say that is not likely. A cop in Alabama, the target of an ambush as multiple gunmen opened fire on him while he sat in his unmarked car. Dallas County DA Michael Jackson gave details of the encounter.
Somebody started following him. He noticed that and called other officers, but they started shooting high-powered rifles.
The unnamed officer was transported to a hospital in Birmingham. His condition has stabilized. Rivers swelling with the floodwaters of former Hurricane Florence, threatening to swamp communities near the South Carolina coast, leaving thousands ready to evacuate. More than a week after Florence crashed into the Carolinas, all the water from the heavy rains is nearing the coast, and people are being told to be ready to evacuate starting today. Is Tiger back? Tiger Woods wins his first PGA event in more than 5 years, taking the Tour Championship.
I've explained throughout the year that I just didn't know whether, when this would ever happen again, or if I could somehow piece together a golf swing, this year, I feel like I could do it. My hands are good enough.
He says his health is improving as well. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin, 636. So here's my question, and I'm sort of paraphrasing. This is the guy, his name is Lamar White Jr., and he wrote a rather lengthy story on BayouBrief.com.
Which is his site. That's what he runs.
Fair enough, but he still put in a hell of a lot of work on this article. I mean, it's a good 7,500 to 10,000 words.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you because I got some of the same documents he's gotten that he put in his. I got them straight from the governor's office. So some of this comes straight from the governor's office.
Not arguing that at all. But here's my question. When he basically attacks Greg Tarver and says that Tarver owes Steve Prater his Senate seat because of Tarver's backing.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is a kid from Alexandria, Louisiana, no knowledge of Shreveport politics. Where do you think he got that?
So is Mr.
Who fed him that?
So is
Think
Mr.
about it.
So is Mr. White in his article saying that Greg Tarver is throwing black folks under the bus to side with Republicans and Steve Prater? That basically is what he's saying. That he's not only throwing the only African-American guy on the Red River Waterway Commission under the bus, but he's saying he's also throwing his own black constituents, Prater's black constituents.
Wait, there's more than one African-American on the Red River
but
Waterway
he's talking
Commission.
specifically about the one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's also saying that Tarver is throwing his black constituents under the bus because he owes Steve Prater his Senate seat.
That's what he's been fed. He's been fed that. And, you got to question who fed him that.
During
Because wait a minute. Think about this very carefully. Because this is a typical Louisiana political mess.
Look, I'm not arguing the source of his stuff at all. What I'm saying is...
But why is this Alexandria writer getting in the middle of what is a Caddo Parish fight?
So you think he's just being manipulated, being worked? You think he's just
suspect it.
A puppet of the Edwards administration?
I would suspect it, and I do. And what am I? A blowtard?
Bloviator.
A bloviator. Okay,
but my
let me bloviate a minute.
Hold on. Well, tell you what. Okay, you got about 30 seconds. But my question is,
I'll be quick.
But is he wrong? Is he wrong? Does Tarver owe his reelection over Lydia Jackson to robocalls and the backing of Steve Prater?
Steve Prater helped Greg Tarver, no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it, and everybody would agree. That's no big surprise. Woo, bulletin. That's no big deal.
But his implication is
that Tarver would lie on the governor?
No, his implication is that by doing so, Tarver is abandoning African Americans in his district.
No, he's stretching that wave. Greg Tarver abandoning African Americans in his district.
You started to bloviate.
Let me
finish my sentence. I'm sorry. That he's saying he abandoned African Americans in his district by opposing the Justice Reinvestment Act.
No.
And
I would
he
disagree.
did that as a favor to Prater.
No, I absolutely would disagree with that. I absolutely would disagree. The problem that Shreveporters and Caddo Parish residents should have is that we only will have two representatives. And I know we only had two in the past. I get that. But that's the issue. Two representatives on a 14-member board where we send 44% of the money. So that's the problem here.
So you think...
That's not right.
So what you're telling me is that Lamar White at Bayou Brief is doing the governor's bidding.
Oh, come on. It's very obvious.
So if it's that obvious, then...
He's a goviator.
Then the governor is...
We're bloviators, he's a goviator.
Then the governor is making it about race. Is that what you're telling me?
Nah, he stretched it there.
No, that...
He stretched it there based on what the
Lamar
governor sent him.
White is rehashing, if he's regurgitating what the governor and the governor's people want him to say, then the governor is saying that Greg Tarver threw black folks under the bus. 641, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. There'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around today. Mostly cloudy with a high of 86. Some clouds, low 69 tonight. Tomorrow, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, high 89. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 643, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Okay, so on Friday, we canvassed these 7 Shreveport City Council people. I've got all their quotes right in front of me. Don't worry about it. It's at keelnews.com. We canvassed these 7 Shreveport City Council people wanting to know if they were aware that an audit was underway of the Water and Sewer Department in Shreveport. Because the mayor said, well, we got an answer from Miss Ollie. What exactly do you have the original email that you sent to the mayor and the mayor's office?
Don't have the original one I sent, but I got this reply. Erin, here is Mayor Tyler's statement regarding the audit question. This is the Water and Sewer Department audit.
Yeah, I have
that
it.
you remember the Southern Hills Forum on August 6th. She was asked, would she perform an audit in the Water and Sewer Department? And she said, if she's reelected, she would perform an audit. Well, we come to find out an audit was already underway.
Well, may I read from the email we got back?
Yeah.
Mayor Tyler's statement. This is from the email. Mayor Tyler's statement regarding the audit question. Quoting, I have no reason to hide that an audit was already underway. In fact, I had made that known publicly numerous times. Besides, it would be to my advantage to acknowledge that an audit was underway. However, that was not the question that was asked of me. The moderator inquired about the circumstances surrounding the recently filed class action lawsuit, and I indicated to him that we would look into that matter, and if we found that an audit was necessary, of course we would do an audit. I have no reason to hide the problems we have in the city. I have been fixing them, those that were created before my tenure, and those problems that occurred on my watch. So, back to the first sentence. I have no reason to hide that an audit was already underway.
Right.
Now, let's go back.
Also, she sent me emails
Yeah.
that 2 council members were involved in the discussion as part of the audit review group and were provided information, invited to meetings, and asked to score the audit request for proposals.
What does an RFP abbreviate?
Request for proposals.
Okay, now there's a whole bunch of people on the council who say we knew about an RFP. We just didn't know that the mayor had acted on that proposal.
She sent emails that went to Jeff Everson and James Flurry about the audit is now going on. An update on the audit.
James Flurry and Willie Bradford, when we texted them on Friday, were very, very to the point. No, I didn't know about the audit. Flurry and Bradford. We had Michael, so that's 2 no's. I didn't know. Flurry saying, I don't know. Willie Bradford, I didn't know.
He did say, Bradford told me, because I talked to him on the phone, he thought that there may have been an RFP.
So, well, they all knew about the RFP. But what they didn't know, evidently, is that the mayor had acted on the RFP.
Right.
Michael Corbin, live in an interview on this station, quote, in a word, no. To me, it's about communication, and I think the members, meaning the council, should have known that the administration was moving forward. So they did. He says.
And let's add the addendum. He is the chairman of the audit committee.
Oliver Jenkins, I was aware that the city had issued an RFP, but not that it had been awarded. Jerry Bowman, it seems as if I remember something being mentioned about an RFP being put out. But after the mayor made the statement at Southwood High, if nothing has been wrong, why do an audit? Then at that time, I was under the assumption of no. Stephanie Lynch, generally, but not specifically, the last update I received was that an RFP was being written to make sure it achieved its intended purpose. But no, the mayor did not advise the council it was in progress or who had been chosen. Got a whole bunch of no's so far, don't we? Jeff Everson, I thought so. It now seems confusing with everyone hashing out what was said and when, but I did think there was an ongoing external audit of the water department. There were some internal audits too. After going to several local forums, I'm starting to think no one pays attention to the audits we already do, but everyone says they want audits. It's all a little confusing. So from the 7 here that I just read their quotes and or their responses to you.
Yeah.
The only one of those 7 that even approaches, I knew about it, is Jeff Everson. Now,
And
what
Jeff
is
was in on the emails giving an audit update. He and James Fleury were the only 2 on the emails that I see.
And yet Fleury says no.
And the contract was executed March 6th of this year to Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, with the expected completion of the audit not before the election, but by the end of the year.
649, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Yes, you're pointing,
Oh,
yes.
got an update on this Tarver-Prater mess.
From,
I'm not saying.
Is it a text?
Oh, yeah.
Look forward to that.
Ooh, it's dirty.
I can kind of guess. Traffic update. Here's Ruben. No Ruben. Here's your KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Kind of cloudy again today. We've got another chance of rain off and on, light and even heavy at times. High today in, God, we may not even hit 80 right now. It's 72 at Keel.
Is your clock right?
.652 Keel Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Rarely will Drew Brees' running exploits outshine his passing feats, but Sunday in Atlanta, the Saints quarterback had 2 rushing touchdowns, including the game-winning sneak in overtime in a 43-37 win over the Falcons. Brees' other running score came with just over a minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Brees, earlier in the game, became the NFL record holder for most career pass completions. Also in the game, Michael Thomas had 10 catches to give him 38 through 3 games, the most at that point in a season in league history. New Orleans improves to 2-1. Atlanta is 1-2. While the Saints offense clicked, the Cowboys offense clanked in Seattle. Dak Prescott was picked off twice by Earl Thomas and was sacked 5 times in the Seahawks' 24-13 win. The former Houghton star finished 19 of 34 for 168 yards and 1 touchdown. It's the 9th time in their last 11 games that Prescott failed to reach 200 yards through the air. Both teams are 1-2. The Texans became the Giants' first victim while sinking to 0-3. Eli Manning threw 2 touchdown passes in a 27-22 win in Houston. Tiger Woods broke a 5-year winless streak with a monumental, emotional win in the PGA Tour season-ending Tour Championship. Woods has overcome numerous back surgeries and other ailments to reach the winner's circle for the 80th time in his career. He finished 2 shots clear of Billy Horschel and Justin Rose to claim the win. In 18 starts on tour this season, Woods had 7 top 10 finishes. He is now just 2 wins shy of tying Sam Snead for the most tour wins in history. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Yo, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty again for Twin City Appliance. You can find out more online at twincityappliance.com. There is one of us in this room who has actual major appliance repair experience with Twin City. Tell us about that.
You bet. The guy came out to my house. He had to come out twice.
What was his name?
You shouldn't have asked me that.
I'm sorry. I thought you would remember.
But the same guy came each time, and he said, this is my area. If you ever have a problem, I'm the guy who'll be here.
You see, one of sort of the little extra services that Twin City gives, they are very not only service-oriented, not only results-oriented, but security-oriented.
Absolutely. And you'll know them. They'll be in their uniform, and they will know your home. And they're going to be the same guy each time. You can't beat that. If you have an appliance that is on the kerplunk, give Twin City Appliance a call today. 318-688-0253.
A little onomatopoeia this morning.
Or check them out at twincityappliance.com.
6:56. Here's Rush on KEEL.
Years union membership has been tanking. A rising organized labor group, however, just might turn things around. The newly formed Campaign Workers Guild boasts some successes already. They've helped organize staffers in at least a dozen Democrat campaigns and one political consulting firm. Apparently, Democrats running for office treat campaign workers like dirt. But the staffers complain of low pay, long hours, horrible working conditions, sexual abuse if it's the Hillary campaign, and it's all been ignored for years. So now unions are organizing these Democrat campaign workers to force Democrat politicians to treat them like human beings. And guess what? This is causing panic among some high-level Democrats. Steve Hildebrand, deputy manager Obama's 2008 run, says political campaigns are short-term gigs, so unionizing doesn't make any sense. Besides, working on a political campaign isn't like other jobs. It's a cause. Hildebrand worries that if Democrat campaigns are heavily unionized in 2020, campaign workers won't put in enough hours to win. Well, what delicious irony. Unions are actually targeting oppressed Democrat campaign workers to find new members, and the Democrats are opposed to unions? If this new labor movement costs their Democrat pals the election, wow! Would that be icing on the cake? Who would have believed this? Cyber criminals, cyber bad guys can attack your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone without you even knowing. Or they can steal your identity, and you may not realize it until it's too late. That's why LifeLock Identity Theft Protection now includes the power of Norton Security to help protect your identity and your devices. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to help detect a range of threats to your identity. And Norton Security protects against online threats like ransomware or malware. And if there is a problem, LifeLock with Norton has agents who will work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton Security provides more detection and more protection against cyber threats. Go to lifelock.com or call 800-440-4833. Use the promo code RUSH for an additional 10% off your first year, plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Terms apply.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Cloudy, a chance of rain again today. A high of about 8.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning at 7:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app, a free download, and Erin has local news getting ready right now.
The governor due in town today will tell you why a woman has been killed in a crash in DeSoto Parish and another shooting in Shreveport. 2 men are wounded.
So this mayor's thing, city council thing, about the water department audit, is that basically a he said, she said, or at least she said, they said at this point?
Well, the mayor's office has provided me a bunch of documents.
And a little more info on the guy who wrote the column at BayouBrief.com. Did Greg Tarver throw black people under the bus for his own political gain? That's what he's saying. Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather. It's all here this hour, and it's coming up on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Governor John Bel Edwards to be in town today to meet with officials at University Health. John Bel Edwards will meet with officials at our local Safety Net Hospital ahead of the Ochsner Health takeover. Ochsner is set to take over control of the hospitals in Shreveport and Monroe from BRF October 1. Edwards says he is excited about Ochsner because he believes they will improve health care and help grow the medical school. Bad weather leads to a fatal crash in DeSoto Parish. According to state troopers, 2 cars collided on LA 175. Troopers say a Lincoln driven by Kayla Allen spun out, crossed the center line, and was hit by a smart car. Allen and her passenger suffered moderate injuries in the wreck. The driver of the smart car died at the scene. Impairment not suspected. The crash remains under investigation. 2 men recovering after being shot during a drive-by shooting last night. According to police, gunmen driving a light-colored sedan opened fire on a home on Murray Street. Investigators say several people were inside the car. One of the victims was shot in the arm, the other in the back. Both are considered non-life-threatening wounds. At this time, no arrests have been made in the case. SPD held an open house over the weekend. Matt Parker has that.
The Shreveport Police Department gave potential officers a look at what it's actually like to be a cop this weekend. Saturday, SPD held an open house at its training center on Greenwood Road. Those considering becoming an officer in Shreveport had the opportunity to meet with instructors and others on the force. If you didn't make it to the open house but are interested in joining the Shreveport Police Department, you can apply online. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The woman who's accused Judge Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault in the 80s has agreed, along with the judge, to testify about the incident on Thursday. This comes after a weekend of negotiations between the accuser, Dr. Ford's legal team, and Judicial Committee members. Senator John Kennedy, a committee member, says before agreeing to the hearing, she'd been offered a few options. Kavanaugh's accuser, Dr. Christine Ford, requested an FBI investigation before she testified, but that appears unlikely to be conducted before she goes before the public panel. Kennedy says if it is confirmed that Judge Kavanaugh sexually assaulted Dr. Ford, it would be a disqualifying condition for his consideration to the High Court, but that has yet to be determined.
We need to take it seriously. I also believe in due process. I think that the person accused has the right to his or her opportunity to say, no, that didn't happen, or it happened differently.
Kennedy says he's talked at length with Kavanaugh, who has categorically denied the allegations. The state is kicking off voter registration week today ahead of a hotly contested midterm season nationally that may not yield many surprises in the Bayou State. Interim Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin says that November will bring more than just statewide elections, though. The ballots will be littered with local issues and a selection of constitutional amendments, like unanimous juries, that could lead to notable changes in Louisiana law. Ardwan says even if national and statewide issues don't excite you, you should still show up.
Mayoral races, school board races, local tax propositions, and things like that.
The deadline to register for November in person or by mail is October 9th, and the deadline to register online with a valid ID is October 16th. Corrections authorities in Houston say 2 pallets of bananas were donated to a Texas prison because they were already ripe. Not only ripe, but rife with cocaine. The department says when sergeants arrived to pick up the boxes, they found bundles of a white powdery substance under some of them. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Uri Drive near Southfield Road, and we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, rather cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm and a high of 86, then some clouds, low 69 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
One 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, 12 after 7 o'clock. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm employed.
The KEEL app is a free download presented by Office Furniture Source.
I didn't have to resign.
At what point during that game, when Louisiana Tech closed it to like 24-17, did they make it 24-17?
Something like that. It was, yeah.
Did you really start to get a little nervous? Did you really ever think that Louisiana Tech was going to win that game?
I didn't like LSU lifting up the gas pedal. I'm like Matt. I'm like, keep it down, hold that gas, hold the throttle down.
Explain to me what happens. Explain to me, in your mind, when LSU beats Southeast 47 30-10 and looks not so sharp doing it.
Mm-hmm.
When they beat Louisiana Tech, what was the final 27-47?
38-21, I believe.
And they don't look so sharp. You explain to me what you think as an LSU fan goes wrong.
I think you're not quite keeping everybody up 100%.
Who's you?
The coaches. You're not keeping the gas pedal down. You're not continuing to pour it on. I want them to pour it on like Bama does.
When did they ever pour it on in either of those two games? When did they ever really?
They didn't. They
okay,
backed off.
You said they take their foot off the gas pedal.
They did things like let Joe Burrow run the ball. Don't do that.
When in either of those two games did
They got very
LSU,
conservative.
Did they really press it all the way to the floor?
They opened fairly strong. They scored in the first quarter.
Is a 2-touchdown lead fairly strong against a mid-major at best?
No. I need to see more. I need to see a more wide open offense. Kind of like what Bama does to people. Let it rip.
In other words, no matter what play you run, you squash the opposition.
Yeah, squash them like bugs.
Did you ever get the sense that they squashed Southeast Louisiana?
No.
Did you ever get the impression that they were squashing Louisiana Tech?
No, and if I'm a Louisiana Tech fan, I'm feeling pretty decent today. You went into Tiger Stadium in front of 100,000 people, and you were respectable. You didn't get pummeled. You didn't get Kent Stated like Alabama did to them.
So my question is back to my first question. Where do you think somebody in that equation goes wrong? That LSU, which is the number what? 5th ranked team in the country,
number 5 according to the AP.
The number 5 ranked team. The 4 teams ahead of them. Alabama, look them up real quick. Alabama,
Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State.
Clemson, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
If they played Southeast Louisiana, if they played Louisiana Tech,
Alabama could score triple digits.
Then does LSU, in your mind, deserve to be the 5th ranked team in the country?
We're 4-0. We beat 2 teams that were ranked in the top 10. That's pretty respectable. Who else has done that? Who else has beaten 2 teams in the top 10?
Who else has played 2 mid-majors and, to use your phrase, not put the pedal to the floor?
Yeah. That's a little bit of a concern.
That seems to be a tradition, if you will.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of a problem, and you cannot do that in the SEC. That's my worry.
My question is, if LSU is the 5th ranked team in the country, if in the minds of the experts that LSU is the number 5 team in America,
you don't want to get to the 4th quarter and it's 24-21 with Louisiana Tech.
And if in your mind the 4 teams ahead of them, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, would score 75 points,